Awesome. Okay, so what is our best dad joke? So for me, I'm speaker number A or one, I'm not sure. Um my best dad joke is, why don't eggs tell each other jokes? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Because because they
They crack.
crack each other up. So that's my best dad joke.
I did, what do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef.
On beef is a good one, yeah.
Mine is why the scarecrow win an award because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh, mine was what happened when the cow jumped over the fence? Utter destruction.
Okay, so question number 2. As a group, you must read the swimming story in the customer service lecture. If you agree to actually all read it before the reading, blah, blah, blah. If you were the manager of the aquatics program, think about 5 things that you would do to fix these problems and be specific. So I just went through on my end and did reliability? Reliability. Sorry. Tangibles, empathy, responsiveness. So for reliability, I said the moms counted on the swim instructor to be there on time as well as well-rounded to teach their young children. I just said, like, that would change. Getting a swim instructor that is excited. For assurance, I said, while not only being late, the swim instructor's first impression was that he usually teaches older students how to dive and not young children how to swim. And so, like, already off the bat, he was making these moms think that he didn't know what he was doing. The tangibles were the community center was poorly kept with the towels being laid out and the lights going out. And they were unsure where to take the children. Just to fix that, I would have signs and stuff like that to kind of show where to go. And having somebody pick up towels is such an easy thing. For empathy, the children taking the lessons were afraid, and instead of empathizing with them, he just kind of told them to jump in and grab the wall of the deep end, which is like crazy to tell a 5-year-old to do. And then responsiveness, the swim instructor was not on time and he was very unsure about his abilities. He also had his earbuds in, so the moms couldn't even talk to him, and they had no communication with him before they were about to hand their children off.
So I was unsure. I thought we were going to read together, so I didn't fill this one in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Is that how we were supposed to do it? I'm not sure.
no, I
I
got
don't think
confused reading
so.
it.
I think you just answer
Okay.
on your own.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
no,
all right. I'll go.
I
I'll
think
go
it was my
then.
fault.
For me, first, I'll train the staff better so they know how to handle situations with care. Second, I would clean and check equipment in the pool every day. Third, I would create a plan to answer parents' questions quickly. Fourth, I would teach staff to be friendly and show their care. Fifth, I would hold regular team meetings to talk about problems and improve the service.
For me, for reliability, the instructor was like late most of the time, which caused a bunch of like stress for the parents and the children. So I would definitely be there on time if I was the swim instructor. And then for assurance, the customers didn't really feel confident or secure with the service provided because the instructor admitted that he usually teaches advanced diving and stuff, which is kind of insane as like beginners to teach them advanced stuff. It's definitely better to start with the easy stuff and then work your way into the deep end. And then for tangibles, the physical facilities were kind of subpar for the staff. Like the dressing room was like messy and dirty, so definitely I would fix that up. And then for empathy, there was little to no understanding of care for children, which is a big part, especially for teaching them. They need to gain your trust and stuff. And then responsiveness, the staff was kind of slow for addressing issues. So I would just like kind of get the staff together and kind of like point them in the right direction for stuff like that.
Awesome. Okay. The next question was to go through the developing and training experience designer quiz as a team. Go through each question and share your response. You may discuss each question if there's confusion. I've also provided an answer key. The chapter reading and lecture should assist. So I'm just going to go through with this and say question number 1 and then what we got for it and so on and so forth, just to make it a little bit quicker, if that's okay with everyone.
That's perfect.
Great.
Okay. So question number 1, what did everybody get for that one?
Hold it up again. Sorry.
I got D, reliability defect on that.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it pulled up. 1 second.
I think we skipped some questions, I can't lie.
What was that?
I think we skipped some questions like before. I think that's number 5.
Here,
Oh, we just-
Yep. You can put it in the back right here.
I don't think we're going in order.
Put it on top of all that, if you will.
this is what I have for mine is,
Because number 4, like number 3 is supposed to be what are the 5 things you would do to fix those problems as an equestrian manager. Then number 4 says, what is one thing you would find interesting from the question answer, and what was the question? That's number 4. But it's alright, we can just keep it going.
I'm not sure. Are you talking about like the questions like on the, no. I'm talking about the question in the quiz that we have, the developing and training experience designer quiz. Yeah, so we're going through that separately.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to go through that whole quiz separately, I believe.
I don't know why I cannot find the quiz right now.
It's under day,
Thanks.
it's under Unit 3, learning content and reflective activities.
Yeah.
And you should just be able to go in and click the quiz.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So on question 1, what did everybody get for question 1? I said D, reliability defect.
Me too.
Yes. Probably got it.
Emily, what did you get?
I got D as well.
Okay, awesome. Question number 2, I got A, reliability defect again.
Same. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And then for 4, or are we on 3? Are we on 3?
3.
We're on 3. Sorry. 3, C, assurance defect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same as mine.
Awesome. Okay. 4, A, empath defect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. 5, A, responsiveness defect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just same as mine.
6, B, tangibles defect. Okay. 7, A, responsiveness defect.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
8, D, reliable defect. Okay, and then 9, A, tangibles defect.
Same. All the same.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cool. That was easy on that one. Okay. Number 4, share one thing you found interesting from Kurt's Q&A. List the question that prompted his response. I found Kurt's Q&A very insightful. Although I can't recall the specific questions, the first thing I found that was very interesting was the question asked about nurses in camps. I have been around special needs camps as well as regular camps, and I have never blinked an eye about like the nurses and medical staff there, because I just thought it was like a normal thing. But after listening to the Q&A, I realized like being behind the scenes takes that visual away from like, knowing that that's not a normal thing that most camps have.
I think I put it in the wrong spot. Did they have something about homesickness on there, or is that the wrong one?
I think that's the wrong one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I'll go then.
on my document. Sorry, guys. I feel like this
No,
happens.
it's alright. No worries. For me, like one thing I liked was when someone asked, how do you balance fun and safety in your programs? And the court said, you can have both if you plan well and teach stuff clearly. I like this because it showed fun doesn't have to be unsafe.
For me, one thing I found pretty interesting was like the questions about like the medical staffs at camps, and how like important and necessary that is, especially to have like good ones. And that's just like super, super valuable for camps to have like a really solid medical team.
Great.
Awesome. So number 5 is, what was your big takeaway from day 16 lecture? My big takeaway was the reward system as working with when I was working as a paraprofessional at an elementary school. A reward system was like the hardest thing for me to pick up because our schedules were changing so much as a para that it was hard to give those kids that reward system all the time. Or like on Fridays, we might not have the same kids that we did on Thursdays. So then those Thursdays kids weren't getting the same treatment, which I thought was really unfair. And so the reward system was just something very insightful for me to learn as I am going to become a teacher.
Yeah, for me it was one of the key takeaways, which was what is reinforcing or punishing for one person may not be the same for another. I thought that was a good way to put it because yeah, some kids it might be a punishment for them, but then for others it isn't. So for example, it would be like in school suspension. A lot of kids that I went to school with almost seemed like they tried to get there to hang out with their friends, so it wasn't that much of a punishment for them in the long run.
My big takeaway was the behavior management. It's about understanding why a kid acts a certain way, not just stopping the bad behavior. This helped me to think differently about like managing kids.
One of the big takeaways I had was one of the tests that they did, specifically the dead man's test, which was kind of just like pointing out that if you're being still or being quiet, it's not really a behavior. It's more of just like being passive, and they don't really recognize that as a behavior. And I thought that was pretty interesting that like somebody being quiet isn't really showing their behavior, because behavior is not um really isn't that.
Sorry, I had to mute myself for a second. I was getting groceries out. So for number 6, it says provide 2 questions and answers from the Behavior Basics FAQ. I just said that I wanted to answer these. I really wanted to answer these questions in my own words just to ensure like I'm understanding them correctly, mainly for him to tell me that I'm understanding them correctly. But the 2 questions that I have is, if you consistently provide reward, you wean a youth from that reward, or is it necessary? Yes, you can totally wean them if they are already doing their goal and they already know what they're expected to do. The example was their reading goal is 20 minutes and they had 10 minutes of swing time as a reward. Their 20-minute goal is already like there. They know what is expected of them. So they know that they shouldn't be expecting a reward in return for doing the correct behavior. The second question I did was, when referring to a tangible behavior, is it okay to give a child what they want if they are throwing a tantrum? What is a healthy way to navigate that type of behavior? It says that tantrums are developmentally appropriate for ages 5 to 6. Or 5 or 6. The item that they want should be withheld until they are done with the behavior and are calmed down. Children at this age have minimal coping skills when they are aggravated, and simply just saying they know better will not work because they don't and they can't. You model coping behaviors to get anger out and wait until they are calmed down and then reevaluate what they are wanting.
Yeah, so I put for my first question I did does the saying praise in public and punish in private apply to working with children? What if it is a safety concern? And the answer to that one was attention is tricky. Whose attention are they seeking? Peers or adult? It may not be punishing to them if they do not care about getting attention from the adult. Is praise reinforcing? You must know the kids to understand what reinforces/punishes them. Yelling at a kid could be reinforcing, while you think it is will punish their behavior. And then for the second one I did, how do you address negative attention if it does not stop, especially if you have addressed the youth several times? If you have addressed them and it's still happening, then it is most likely maintained by attention. You are providing attention via reprimands. Therefore, you are reinforcing. I would not provide attention for the behavior. Oh my gosh. You do not want to see. Providing the attention that you do. Provide the attention that you do want to see. Sorry, my brain is all over the place. For example, catch them being good. Provide other kids attention for the behavior that you want to see. Provide as little attention as possible if you must address. Don't say, yeah, so-and-so wasn't listening again. While children are present, if the behavior is not maintained by attention, find out what they want. Goodness, sorry, that was all over the place.
For me, one question asked, what should I do when a child keeps breaking rules? The answer was to stay calm and use clear rules with follows-up actions. Another question asked, how can I stop behavior before it starts? The answer was to plan ahead and give kids choices. Both help me understand how to manage problems in a better way.
For me, I thought it was pretty interesting with the appropriate consequences for stuff. Like the difference in positive punishment and negative punishment. Like for positive punishment, if one of the kids does something bad, you add a consequence. Like if like one of the kids like flips a table or something, you stop them and make him clean it up. And then for negative punishment, you're kind of removing a privilege, like taking away a preferred activity that they like to do. And then another thing I found interesting was delaying gratification after tantrums and not giving a child what they want during a tantrum. You have to like wait until they're calmed down and then kind of just like go through what they did wrong and then give them what they want like after the tantrum's kind of over with.
Okay, and then question number 7, would you have gone to New Jersey's infamous Action Park, or would you go if it was still open? And I said, honestly, I probably would as a teen or a young adult, or maybe even now, but it was definitely be like against all of my mom's wishes. But if I am who I am now or with children, absolutely not. But I've always been the one to live on the wild side, so this probably would have been right up my alley, to be very honest.
Honestly, same. I was definitely more of a thrill seeker and like that kind of stuff as a teenager, and a kid, but probably not anymore if it was still open now.
Me, I would not go. I mean, it looked fun, but very unsafe. I mean, a lot of people got hurt.
Yeah, me too. I probably wouldn't go. It just seems like there's too many things that can go wrong, and I've never really been a fan of roller coasters and stuff.
Okay, so question number 8. What surprised you most about day 17 lecture? Cite the slide and time in the lecture. This is like of no offense to the professor at all, but I believe it was around like 13 or 14 minutes in the lecture, and he talked about supervision and how he was supervising his daughter, and she still fell. I think that it's like it doesn't necessarily surprise me more as it's interesting to learn about like all of the things that happen while an adult is watching. And accidents happen all the time, but having supervision added into everything youth does is important, and it takes time. It reminds me of like at the very beginning of the semester when we talked about how youth never had supervision. They were going to work, they were going out and like partying, drinking at such a young age, and likely like how many accidents happened at that time of, just such a young age. And these people are doing what grown people are doing nowadays.
Was this for the lecture over, oh my gosh. My documents got all sorts of messed up. Okay, I'm just gonna read what I put. Definitely think that this got messed up. But I said at 9:40, 9 minutes and 40 seconds, Dr. Nelson discussed homesickness on the health and safety FAQ page for Camp Choye. And I like how the techniques were things such as the parents writing letters to the kids to help overcome the homesickness. And that was like a pretty good point that he put, that they pointed out on the page was talking about homesickness, because I feel like that's kind of skipped over for a lot of places.
But for me, hopefully I didn't put the wrong lecture, but my answer says slide 8 at 14-15 minutes surprised me. It showed how many kids are affected by stuff who are not trained well for. I didn't know that untrained stuff couldn't hurt kids. I mean, emotionally.
For me, it was right at like minute 12. I think it was 11:50. Dr. Nelson was talking about Camp Choye and how they have like a 6-inch plastic lining on the bottom of the shower curtains so that staff can like walk around and check who's taking showers just to like keep the kids out of trouble. I thought that was pretty clever.
All right, question number 9. Can you define the difference between being present during a youth program and actively supervising? Being present is really just like, not having any distractions, not being on your phone, not talking to other like employees around you. I see this all the time when I was working at like the elementary school. A lot of teachers, I'm not going to say like don't supervise their children, because they do, but at the same time, like you can definitely tell if you are on your phone, you are not paying attention to a child. Like nothing is going past your brain when you're paying attention to two things at once. Even if you're like writing an email and a kid walks up to you, like you're not focusing on what that child needs. And it's actively paying attention to what the students are doing literally the whole time that they're doing an activity or anything. But even then, some accidents happen, and there's tons of accidents that happen while under adult supervision.
Yeah, I said being present is just physically being there, but not engaging or watching the youth, and/or watching the youth. While actively supervising would consist of hands-on engagement, active listening, communication skills, and just being fully there in the moment with them. I feel like it's pretty easy to detect if someone's fully there or just physically there. So.
Yeah, for me, I said being present means just being there in space, but actively surprising means like watching kids moving around, talking to them and stopping problems before they even happen.
Yeah, I said present is just like physically being in the space and kind of watching from a distance, but not really engaged. And then active supervision is more like intentionally like interacting with the kids and playing with them and stuff.
Awesome. So question number 10, if you were a program manager, what strategies would you use to conduct program evaluation? I said, first, to conduct my program evaluation, I would create a logic model that defines everything that will be included into my program. This ensures we're reaching the right needs of the youth we are providing for. Next, I would find the right evaluation type to the program I'm running. This ensures that the program is evaluated correctly based on how the stakeholders react to what I'm giving them. We will use information based on the key successes as well as what needs to be improved in the present program. Lastly, engaging with our stakeholders. This is the difficult part. We would need to maybe be in contact with them frequently as well as giving them all the information in a timely manner, kind of almost like an information overload, but just so that they have everything at once.
I said, as a program manager, I would evaluate programs by first building a roadmap or a logic model that visually connects everything we put into the program, what we do, what directly comes out of it, along with the ultimate changes we hope to see. This roadmap helps us figure out exactly what questions to ask during the evaluation. Second, I would use a two-pronged approach by gathering both number-based information like surveys, survey results or attendance figures, and rich story-based information like interviews or focus group discussions. This way we get both a measurable result and a deeper understanding of people's experiences and the why behind the numbers.
As a program manager, I would give like surveys to kids and parents, and I would watch how staff and kids interact. It would help me understand what is working and what needs to change. Just simply.
Yeah, if I was a program manager, I'd use like surveys and feedback forms just to kind of gather input from participants and just kind of move forward and improve as a whole. And then I would also instill logic models, which is kind of like a tool that outlines the program's like activities and stuff, and then it helps align day-to-day operations with long-term goals.
Okay, question number 11 lists at least 2 things that you learned from the readings and lectures. One thing I find important is how important families are when it comes to youth programming. Without communicating with parents or getting them involved, how are we as facilitators supposed to earn the trust from the parents if we can't correctly communicate with the most important aspect in the youth's life? That was my first thing. And then another thing I learned is how to properly evaluate a program based on needs and with structure models.
I guess that question got deleted on my side because I went straight into who serves as a youth program's stakeholders. So I don't have that one.
My question 11 says, in your own words, what can be stakeholders in a youth program? That's what question 11 says.
Yeah, that's what my 11 says too.
Yeah. And just answer that one.
Okay, then that's fine. We'll just go to question number 11 or 12. It's 12 for me, but in your own words, who can serve as a youth program stakeholder? Anyone related to the youth that participates in the program, as well as those holders that want to help youth, and also have gone through a background check, obviously, because anything that deals with our youth, they need to go through the proper background checks and background information to ensure that they are fit to be around youth, I guess.
I said youth program stakeholders are anyone with direct influence over, or who is impacted by the program's operations and results. This includes participants, parents, staff, funders, community partners, and policymakers.
My answer says stakeholders are people who care about the program. They can be kids, parents, staff, the school, donors, or the community. They all want the program to do well. That's it.
Yeah, I said stakeholders are kind of anyone who have interest in the success of the youth program. They're kind of just the people that care about the outcomes and may be affected by the program's work.
Okay, and then question number 13, looking at hole in the wall gang and camp Milliken annual reports, what information do you think stakeholders found helpful? I actually forgot to answer these questions on here, so for 13 and 14, I don't have answers for that, but y'all can go on ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and lead these next two questions. So I said from Hole in the Wall gang and camp, Milliken annual reports, stakeholders likely found financial transparency, how the funds were used, impact metrics, the number of youth served, outcomes and outcomes achieved, and success stories most helpful.
Stakeholders like seeing how money was used, how many kids came, what fun activities were done, and the success stories. This show the program is helping kids in using the money well.
Um, yeah, I would say the stakeholders probably found like these following things important. That the participant outcomes, which showed program impact, and then clear financial details ensuring transparency, and then recognition of donors, and then make it clear on the updates on mission progress and kind of the future goals for the program, and then personal stories that connect to the program's work.
All right, the next one says download the Milliken newsletter 2024 and discuss who this report was intended for. I said the Milliken newsletter 2024 was intended for donors, potential donors, volunteers, and the broader community to maintain engagement, solicit support, and showcase the camp's positive impact.
Yeah, basically it's the same. The report is for parents, donors, and people in the community. It tells them about fun events, shows pictures, and talk about what the camp is doing. It helps build the trust, pretty much.
Yeah, I pretty much said the same thing, that it's primarily for donors and community partners and families. And it kind of aims towards informing them about recent things that have been going on and the success they've had in upcoming activities that they're going to have, and then ways to stay involved or donate more.
Okay. And then the last one that I have, sorry, it's really loud in my house right now. Everybody is getting home from work and from everything, and it's just really loud. What steps have you taken to complete your program themes? I've already turned in my first draft of my program themes. I'm pretty sure that's what we were supposed to be doing. And I just have one more to do. And then I haven't looked and seen if he is like edited anything, but yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I work full time or if my brain is just completely out of school mode, but I'm a little confused on everything. But I just wrote down, I focused on creating engaging indoor activities for kids on rainy days. To achieve this, I've leveraged both valuable insights from class material on child development and ideas from online resources. My aim is to offer diverse and fun options and ensuring that kids have activities to enjoy even when they're stuck inside. So I'm basically in a roundabout way. I've been working on it and gathering ideas from class and online to put together program themes.
My answer is very simple. I started planning activities and just made a clear schedule. That's it.
Yeah, for me, I honestly haven't started that yet. I got a question for y'all on it. Like for the project, are we just presenting our themes to Dr. Nelson in like a Zoom call or something?
I'm guessing that's what we're supposed to be doing because we still have one more team meeting after this, correct?
Yeah.
I think that's where my confusion's coming from because
Also me, because this is supposed to be team meeting 3 that we're recording right now, but it says it's due on the 29th, right?
I think it's
this is
team meeting 2. The group is number 3, I think.
yeah, I think let's go ahead and finish up and then in our last 2 minutes let's discuss this real quick.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.